Hey guys, I'm over back again. I know I recently just wrapped up my full review of the Pixel 8, but after using that, I actually switched back to my 7A for a few days until my OnePlus Open comes in. So the 7A has just been my bridge phone. And after switching back to the 7A, I realized that I took the Pixel 8 for granted the whole time while I was using it. And when I switched back to the 7A more, there are a whole bunch of little things which makes the Pixel 8 a pretty worthy upgrade. But before jumping to that, just want to give my partner Mint Mobile a quick shout out. They currently offer a 5G plan for as low as $15 a month, so make sure to check them out. You get talks, text, and data for one low price. Link in the description below. Okay, now let's jump into the things that I missed from the Pixel 8 once I switch back to the 7A. First of all is the bezels. Going back to the 7A, you will notice that the 7A has much thicker bezels. I don't really notice bezels that much, and it's not something that I stare at on a day-to-day basis. But after using the Pixel 8 and going back to the 7A, I do notice that the black bars around the edge of the phone are much larger. Doesn't bother me, and it's not going to impact my life whatsoever, but it just happened to be something that I noticed. That is significantly bigger. Another thing is, go back to the 7A, it just feels like a much chunkier and heavier phone, and I accidentally drooped it on my face while I was using it at night, but I still had my Pixel 8, which is actually a smaller and lighter phone. Maybe it wouldn't have hurt as much. 7A also feels just a little bit wider as well, and that can be a good thing or a bad thing. The extra weight, bezels, and girth. Me personally, I tend to prefer smaller phones, and this one just being slightly wider just makes it a smidge more challenging to use. It is not ginormous by any means. We're talking about fractions of an inch here, but it is slightly wider at the end of the day. But one of the things that I really noticed the biggest difference between the 7A and the Pixel 8 is simply the face unlock. I took it for granted on the Pixel 8 how well it works. Maybe it works so often that I don't even notice it, and since before I used the Pixel 8, I came from the iPhone 15 Pro Max and they have an awesome face unlock, so I just use it normally without any complaints, any hesitation or anything like that. And going to the Pixel 8 was actually a pretty comparable experience. I know the Android face unlock is not as secure as the Apple face unlock, but this whole new AI stuff that Google is doing with their face unlock made the unlocking process faster and smoother, and as a result of that, I don't have to use the terrible fingerprint sensor as much. It is basically the same fingerprint sensor over the last few years. And going back to the 7A, the face unlock does not work as well, so I find myself using the fingerprint sensor more often, and as a result of that, I always have to tap the phone multiple times to unlock it. Whereas compared to the Pixel 8, I don't have to worry about as much since it almost always unlocks properly using the face unlock alone. So little things like that, you take it for granted. It works really well, you don't even think about it until you go and use another phone. Even the 7A is only about 5 months old, but it just tells you how much AI and things like that does make your life a little bit better in the background, whether you notice it or not. And with the 7A, I just find myself charging it more, longer. It has slower, fast charging, only at 18 watt. Compared to the Pixel 8, it goes up to 30 watt or so. And the Pixel 8 usually lasts me an average 12 hours a day. Pixel 7A lasts me closer to 10, 11 hours, so slightly less. But the faster charging on the Pixel 8, I can just plug it in for 15 to 20 minutes. That'll last me the rest of the day. With the Pixel 7A, I have to do a few of those 15 to 20 minutes throughout the day just to make sure I make it through the full day, just because the charging speed is much slower. And the phone itself, since it is an older chip, it does run hotter than the G3. The G3 still run hot, but the G2 on the 7A, it is still significantly hotter. And you notice it more, especially when you're playing games. I'm just playing Pokemon trading card game. Not any race car or anything intensive like that, but even playing for about 15 to 30 minutes, I notice the phone getting hotter, the battery drains quicker, and as a result of that, you gotta recharge your phone more, gotta find a cable, it's just more work. little things like that, it adds up. And finally, the last thing that I do notice is the speaker on the Pixel 8 is louder. I don't know the exact decibels or anything like that, but just me taking a shower, listening to podcasts, listening to music. I have the phone placed in the same area, and I can just hear the Pixel 8 much better. Those are some additional thoughts that I do want to share with you guys. I know right now the Pixel 8 is basically double the cost of the 7a, with just a few more things to consider if you want to make the switch or you're considering between the two. Not to mention the Pixel 8 has 2000 nits peak brightness, so when you're walking outside it's much easier to see, and I never have any issues with seeing that outside. So once again, another thing I take for granted. Whereas the 7a, if the sun is beaming right at it, it can be challenging depending on the viewing angle. But if you're not really an outdoor person, it may not be anything that can pack you. That's just another thing to consider. Pixel 8 also have 120 Hz refresh rate compared to the 90 Hz on the 7a, but some people really do enjoy that higher refresh rate. So if all the things I listed above matters to you and if it's worth roughly double the price, go for it. If not, and you are more budget conscious, then just stick with the 7a. I think if I were to pick two things of that whole list, I think the face unlock working much better. A pretty significant improvement. It's just better charging, better battery life, and the 2K peak brightness. But those are the things that matters most to me of that whole list. Alright guys, thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts, concerns, anything else you want me to cover. Remember to like and subscribe. Please check out my last video for the full review if you haven't already. I also did a review for fun with my wife. I asked about her experience in the Galaxy Z Flip 5. If you're interested in watching that, link on the left. Appreciate the time as always, and see you guys in the next video.